Well, tickle my pickle and call me Bernard. It's all got a bit controversial in the Usyk Daniel Dubois fight, and here is why. It's left us with one big question. Was this a low blow? Oh yes, so let's unravel it then, shall we? Well, in between my marathon Pornhub sessions, I've been reading the comments, I've been watching the interviews, and the opinions are very divided. I even put a little poll out to get a feel for what you beautiful people are thinking, and here are the results. As we can see, who's been choosing that fucking option, the cheeky bastards? That's quite a lot, isn't it? Double liberty, that, bloody hell. Anyway, as we can see, here are the results. Yes, very interesting, I must say. But let's have a look ourselves then. Right, here we go. Yes, here it comes. Bosh, bloody hell. Let's have another angle. Here it is. Oh, well. No wonder this has divided opinion. So before we get into the actual rules and bumfluffery around this situation, let's look at the exact point of impact. So regardless of all the pictures floating about, this angle is the most important angle to view. And now we need to stop the punch at the exact point of contact. Now this is very important because the punch that Dubois threw was ultimately an uppercut. And with an uppercut, the fist is going to continue travelling upwards. So Proper's going to try to be double fair here. Right then, here we go. So the shorts are moved slightly around about here. Okay, not quite full impact yet. Then impact possibly around here. Then in the next frame, Usyk's body registers the punch and begins to move backwards. So the main frames, in my opinion, are these two. Do we count the position of the punch as the very split second it touches Usyk's body? Or do we count the position of the punch when impact is made and it begins to move Usyk? It's an interesting point in it because we can see they provide different fist positions. Or maybe it's not an interesting point and you're all just thinking, well, it's obvious where the punch hits, will you just fucking get on with it? Either way, it's all been opened up for debate here because of that very important phrase, below the belt. Now just bear with me, I'll come back to that in a minute, but amidst the backlash there are some things that need to be addressed. A lot of people have claimed Usyk is a cheat. They said he's milked it, he's playing to the ref, held his nuts, that dodgy little fucker. They're saying he made a song and dance about it like he knew what he was doing. And one person adamant about this is Dubois' trainer Don Charles.
I'll have more respect for him if he come up publicly and say the truth, I cheated.
Yes, so Don is flat out calling him a cheat. But just wait a minute, Big Don. He didn't actually do anything wrong. And here's why. The referee made the low blow decision straight away. First of all, we can see the ref has the most perfect angle for this. He could have not been in a better position to make the decision. Now, as we can see, Usyk is about to go down here. But before he's able to roll around and make a song and dance about it, before his brain is able to register the thoughts, oh, I better milk this to make sure the ref thinks this is a really low blow. Before all of that, the ref made the big decision and calls low blow here. Usyk's barely touched the canvas by this point, and if you want to get really technical on when the ref decided it was a low blow, it was actually about here, when he put his hand over his own bollocks. Have a look. Yes, he's going, oh fucking hell, I felt that bruv, right on the baby maker. No Barclays banking for you tonight. But the point is, regardless whether the shot is considered low or not, you can't tarnish this man as a cheat. I mean, after looking at the footage, to be honest, I didn't actually see him holding his crown jewels at all. I may be wrong, but to me he was just sitting there with his hand resting near his nuts and shaking like a fucking leaf. Okay, he used all the allotted time, but come on, Dubois would have done the same thing if he was in that position. That's not against the rules. Regardless though, there was nothing in Usyk's actions to sway the ref's decision. No cheating occurred. However, I will say one thing, in the post-fight presser, Usyk did say this.
Не можна людей по яйцам бить.
You are not allowed to hit the man in his balls.
Well, okay, I mean, I've got to be honest, Usyk, you clearly didn't get hit in the balls, unless your knob and bollocks are upside fucking down. So yes, that's a bit of a porky pie. But back to the big debate. So here's what some of the well-respected fighters who've been there and done it are saying.
In my opinion, it's a low blow. The bottom part of the glove was on the actual shorts, on his scrotum area, really quite low, too low really. So it was a legitimate low blow.
Was it low? Wasn't it low? What's your opinion?
It wasn't low. That's a fact. This is my opinion of it. It's hit the protector. So if it hits the protector, then it's an illegal blow.
Very interesting. And of course, here is Tony Bellin's tweet on the matter. So yes, to sum it all up, let's talk about these rules then. This naval mumbo jumbo and all that. Yes, what is the overall verdict? Well, let's begin with the shorts then. Well, Usyk's shorts, they weren't that high, were they? I mean, compared to, say, David Hayes, for example, who's basically around his fucking forehead. Usyk's are around about the belt. belly button, or slightly above. So, here is the official rules according to the British Boxing Board of Control. Whether or not this is the commission that were used for the Dubois fight, it just doesn't matter, because the rules in this scenario are pretty much typical all over the world. So the belt line in boxing is obviously not this belt line. It is defined as a line drawn across from the top of the hip bones, and as these body pictures show, that line is generally slightly below the belly button. Usyk is in the same bracket. So now we have defined what people mean when they say below the belt. It actually doesn't matter where the shorts are. It means below this line is not permitted. So then, if we return to the footage of this controversial moment and stop it around about here, we can't actually see it, but let's say Usyk's belly button is in this vicinity here. Then, as the punch lands, the impact must be around about here. We can clearly see. It's so obvious that... Oh, fuck knows, I still can't really tell, can you? Now, well, listen, I mean, depending on which frame you determine impact to be, most of his fist is certainly below the belly button, and to my eyes, it kind of looks like some of his fist is on or slightly below that boxing belt line. Yes, that line between the hips. But to be totally honest, I couldn't completely disagree with someone who said they see his fist is above that belt line. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on what they're seeing here. It's just too difficult to call with the shorts covering that very important hip line. But in the end, yes, it's simply the ref's decision, and it has to be said that Usyk did dominate, and if it was deemed legal and the ref started counting after that body shot, I'm pretty sure he would have got up. I'm not saying he'd have recovered, but he would have gone out on his shield, and considering this man's track record, the respect he has shown for the sport, I find it hard to believe he faked or tried cheating anything here. Just saying. Dubois, on the other hand, he did give it a ruddy good go, and fair play to him. But, well, you know, he did kind of fail to go to that deep water once again, and unfortunately he's opened himself up to that quitting controversy that he received before by taking another knee. It's a bit of a shame, really. You can't deny the great champions of the sport, the likes of Froch for instance, would never have showed that lack of heart, especially in a world title fight. And talking of Froch, he did make an interesting point.
He instantly went down like he'd been hit low. He got hit, he went straight down. When you get hit with a body shot, there's a delayed reaction. The diaphragm doesn't work properly, and you can't get your air. You're sort of, you're stuck. There was no delayed reaction from Usyk.
Well, yeah, that's a very interesting point, Marv. Something to consider. And I will finish on this, just an observation, and just for argument's sake, if Usyk had hit Dubois in exactly the same position and Dubois goes down, then the referee counted him out, declaring it was a fair and legal blow. Frank Warren and Don Charles and all of Team Dubois would have probably said it was a low blow. So you can't really win either way, can you? It's a much of a muchness, do you know what I mean? Fuck it, it's boxing, innit? Anyway, it is what it is. Bring on Fury Usyk now. Time's time. You've seen his human fury. Get it sorted, bruv. And yeah, sorry, Hergovich, you're a great fighter and all that, and I'm sure you'll get your step-aside money, but nobody wants to see that fight, bruv. I'd rather watch Cleverly fucking bell you free. Let's just have the undisputed after the Ngannou fight. Thank you very much. Anyway, yes, that's it. Let me know your thoughts below. Good night to Rafa now, Bosh.